Assistant is Marley Smith. We call her Short Fuse. Marley, wave at the crowd. There she is. The next on the team is Amber Smith. We call her Bang Bang. Wave your hat. And last but not least is Jeff Harrod. We call him the Big Kaboom. Wave to him. That's our muscle man. When they get stuck in that Alabama mud, he can pull them out. So, my name is Mike Pleasant. I come from the hills of Tennessee. I go by the alias of Cooter Clinker, the purveyor of Appalachian medicinal herbs, tonics, and the elixir of life. But that's another story. So, what are we going to do today? How many saw Sweet Home Alabama? All right, a lot of movie fans. So you got a sample of an anvil shoot in the movie. Now you get to hear, see, and feel the real deal. What we're going to do with the aid of black powder is to lift a 125-pound anvil as high as we can get it. Now, we are getting set up for the first shot. But there's a little story that's going to help explain this first shot. You know, back in the early 1800s, in the town, you would have a barber shop. And in most instances, this barber was a physician, sometimes surgeon, or a doctor, you know, took care of wounds, broken legs, and things like that. And to show his business, he would take the bloody rags and he would hang them out in front of his store. Now you can imagine these white rags that had been soaked in blood from pulling a bullet out of somebody's shoulder or whatever. After a couple of days, you would have problems with flies and odors and things. So the other proprietors on the street would complain about that. So that's where the barber pole was invented. They would take a round piece of wood, put red and white striped paints on it to simulate the rags from the wounds from the surgery. So we got to thinking about that one day, sitting around a campfire, and said, you know, what would happen if you crossed a blacksmith with a barber? Now, throughout history, we've had doctors and barbers, same chair. You go in, you get your mustache trimmed, and they pull your teeth. But what if you had a blacksmith as a barber? How would he advertise? He couldn't hang up bloody rags. He couldn't hang up a red and white pole. He couldn't put a black pole up there because you couldn't see it at night. So we came up with this scenario that we think this is a way that in early America, a blacksmith / barber would have advertised. For our first shot, we're honored to have Mr. George Loomis. Hails from Pennsylvania, around Gettysburg, and he is the proprietor of Regimental Quartermasters, and he is located in Sullers Row and has some of the most authentic wares. I'm sure he's sold a lot of stuff to movies and been in the movie Gettysburg and things like that. So we're honored to have him as our first shooter. We're going to ask him, here he is, Now you've given him his instructions. Okay. What George is doing, he's standing in front of the old blaster box. Now this was a plunger type device. You raise it up, it ratchets into position, and then with all the might you can you push it down. Inside there's flywheels and all kind of little things that creates an electrical charge that will run down the yellow wire and set the charge off. Now, under each one of the anvils, there's approximately a pound to a pound and a quarter of black powder. Now, are you sure you want to do this? Now, remember my story about the barber. How would a blacksmith barber advertise his skill? We figured it out. Master Blaster, George, I'm going to let you show him.